Another method that I'd like to just spend a few minutes on is white papers. How many people here read a white paper every day on something, okay? You're inundated with them now. I mean, you're being emailed things constantly, okay? But those companies get it. They know what's important. But I want to talk about a good white paper versus a bad white paper. And I'm all for delivering these. I think they're very good. But if you want to make them effective and help you, you want to base them on sales objections. And we call them sales objection white papers. So basically what you should do is sit down with your sales team and list your top 10 sales objections that you get on a regular basis, and sort those also. If you deal with different decision makers, you know, if you're calling on CFOs for some things or directors of something else, sort them by the title, the different objections. And then what you want to do is write. You want to title a paper and source it or have it written about that objection and how to overcome it. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Let's say you're you're selling to people in the healthcare vertical, and you sell software programming, and you deal with the CFO mostly, and they always tell you, we don't outsource, okay? We just, you know, this is something we do in-house. Well, you should create a white paper, 7 reasons why a healthcare CFO should outsource software development, all right? Now, the white paper should not be about your product or your service, okay? That's not what you want. If you can, first of all, if you can get a third party, an independent source to write it, it'll be more objective, and you really should. But just a few things that you certainly want to have in here, but you know, the key to this is to make it independent, not directly about what you're selling, okay? But it wouldn't be bad if the indirect conclusion at the end is something that your products or services could certainly help with. Okay, but you don't want it to be about you directly. As I said, keep them short. I mean, not that 4 or 5 pages is long, but you want there to be content in it. Certainly reference third-party research if you can. And most importantly, you must conclude with how the prospect's going to benefit from it. Okay, they have to see that. And those are probably going to end up being in sync with your benefits. Okay, as far as timing, everybody's buy and sell cycles are different. The idea behind engagement marketing is to make sure that you're top of mind for them when it is that their buy cycle begins. That's really what you're doing it. We recommend monthly at least, but if your own personal sales cycle is pretty short, then you might want to tighten that up a little bit because you don't want to miss somebody. Okay, but again, you know, in summary, from a marketing standpoint, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but we wanted to squeeze what we could into a 30-minute talk about what would be most important, and the thought leadership aspect of all this. Establish an engagement marketing process to deliver all that, and concentrate on white papers that matter to people. Okay, let's move to the sales side of things. How do we create value in advance when we're actually in the process of selling? What should our salespeople do? Well, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we have a solid sales value proposition. Okay, who here has a value prop they might want to share that their company uses? Anybody? No? We got quiet all of a sudden. Okay, go.
I'll take a stab at it,
Okay.
because unfortunately what I'm trying to do is figure out whether or not my clients, or I'm trying to knock on their door, if they're interested in creating positive cash flow.
Okay.
So, Mr. Customer, my clients, I've been able to create a positive cash flow.
Okay. What is it that you sell?
Voice and data.
Okay.
So, phone systems, security, but I try to focus more on what their costs internally is.
That's great. I mean, actually, you're keying to the benefit. You're keying to the value that you're ultimately going to bring them. I'll talk about, you know, all the things that make a great sales value proposition, but I think that's a great start. It's about obviously convincing them, giving them the hook, the enticement of why they should do business with you, why they should talk with you. So many companies just go out and just say, I'm in insurance. What does that mean? How is that helping somebody? All right. So you want to make sure there's an enticement or a hook. Here are the criteria that we find work best in creating a sales value proposition. Okay, if you don't have this compelling statement yet about what you do, if you're in the elevator with someone, if someone asks you what you do at a party and you can't rattle this thing off in 5 to 7 words, you need to sit down and come up with it. Okay, we're certainly available to help, but that's something you should do. 5 to 7 words in length, is really ideal. I mean, it could be a little shorter, but I wouldn't go longer than 7. Use the word specialist, not expert, but specialist. Expert brings up sometimes some legal ramifications, like expert witnesses or certain things like that. But specialist is an important word to use. And as a quick example, I know Jim almost lost his eye the other night, but let's say we'll change the example. Let's say you're working around the house and you have an accident, and all of a sudden the top half of your finger comes off. And you put it in ice, you head over to the hospital, you walk into the ER, and you get to the desk and you tell the woman what happened, and she says, well, we have 2 people here. We have a general surgeon or a finger reattachment specialist. Who do you want to see? Okay. It sounds really funny, but that's what this is about, okay? Tell people that you specialize in this. Use a vertical market word. That sort of adds to the specialty. When they know that you're at a certain industry, all of a sudden they're just feeling a little more secure. Well, this person knows that real well. In your value prop, you want to describe your ultimate benefit, okay? Much like you said, you want to get those across. Let's look at a few examples here, okay? I mentioned insurance sales before. If you're an insurance salesman and you focus on manufacturing companies, you are a manufacturing business continuity specialist, all right? That's really what you're selling, right? Business continuity based on what your product will bring to the table, okay? If you are someone like Jim or I, or somebody who is out selling, maybe it's sales training, maybe it's marketing, whatever you're selling to get new customers for somebody, and let's say you concentrate in distribution, you're a customer capture management specialist, okay? Again, let's say you build real estate, you're a commercial real estate person, all right? You build commercial buildings. What's the most important thing to the buyer of a commercial building? It's the cost, right? I mean, they're gonna want to know that they're getting the right value for the cost. So, commercial construction cost optimization specialist. If you are all of a sudden in the market and you need to go build a building, all right, and you hear and you meet somebody who says, yeah, I'm a commercial construction cost optimization specialist, that's someone who you feel you want to at least talk to. You want to see what they have to say, all right? If you were a specialist at what Jim just spoke about on customer satisfaction, you could call yourself a customer retention specialist. Again, classified by a vertical if you can. But the whole idea, again, about the sales value prop is to make it a hook, make it enticing, and make it specific so that you fill a certain niche. You could if you do more than that industry, you could certainly have 5 different props depending on who you're talking to. But nonetheless, the root of it should act as the enticement and get the specialization across, okay? Okay, let's talk about another topic called parallel imaging. I spoke earlier about how important it was to become the expert, okay? Again, not call yourself an expert, but become very knowledgeable about the industry of your buyer, of your prospect. And one of the things that you should get familiar with is the lingo that they're using, the keywords and the phrases, and create a buyer dictionary. Right? It's very important that when you go out, if you speak like a buyer, you're going to, again, have the door open to the boardroom a lot more quickly than otherwise, right? If you start using your own lingo about your products and services that you sell, right away you can have that vendor stamp on your forehead the whole time, right? And you're going to be thought of that way. So change the way that you communicate.